The Discourses of Epictetus. Translated by George Long. Book 3. Chapter 15. That we ought to proceed with circumspection to everything. In every act, consider what precedes and what follows, and then proceed to the act. If you do not consider, you will at first begin with spirit, since you have not thought at all of the things which follow, but afterwards, when some consequences have shown themselves, you will basely desist from that which you have begun. I wish to conquer at the Olympic Games. And I too, by the gods, for it is a fine thing. But consider here what precedes and what follows, and then, if it is for your good, undertake the thing. You must act according to rules, follow strict diet, abstain from delicacies, exercise yourself by compulsion at fixed times, in heat, in cold, drink no cold water, nor wine, when there is opportunity of drinking it. In a word, you must surrender yourself to the trainer, as you do to a physician. Next in the contest, you must be covered with sand, sometimes dislocate a hand, sprain an ankle, swallow a quantity of dust, be scourged with the whip, and after undergoing all this, you must sometimes be conquered. After reckoning all these things, if you have still an inclination, go to the athletic practice. If you do not reckon them, observe you will behave like children who at one time play as wrestlers, then as gladiators, then blow a trumpet, then act a tragedy, when they have seen and admired such things. So you also do. You are at one time a wrestler, athlete, then a gladiator, then a philosopher, then a rhetorician, but with your whole soul you are nothing. Like the ape you imitate all that you see, and always one thing after another pleases you. But that which becomes familiar displeases you. For you have never undertaken anything after consideration, nor after having explored the whole matter and put it to a strict examination, but you have undertaken it at hazard and with a cold desire. Thus some persons, having seen a philosopher and having heard one speak like Euphrates, and yet who can speak like him, wish to be philosophers themselves. Man, consider first what the matter is, which you propose to do, then your own nature also, what it is able to bear. If you are a wrestler, look at your shoulders, your thighs, your loins, for different men are naturally formed for different things. Do you think that, if you do what you are doing daily, you can be a philosopher? Do you think that you can eat as you do now, drink as you do now, and in the same way be angry and out of humor? You must watch, labor, conquer certain desires, you must depart from your kinsmen, be despised by your slave, laughed at by those who meet you. In everything you must be in an inferior condition, as to magisterial office, in honors, in courts of justice. When you have considered all these things completely, then, if you think proper, approach to philosophy. If you would gain in exchange for these things freedom from perturbations, liberty, tranquility. If you have not considered these things, do not approach philosophy, do not act like children, at one time a philosopher, then a tax collector, then a rhetorician, then a procurator, officer, of Caesar. These things are not consistent. You must be one man, either good or bad. You must either labor at your own ruling faculty or at external things. You must either labor at things within or at external things. That is, you must either occupy the place of a philosopher or that of one of the vulgar. A person said to Rufus when Galba was murdered, "Is the world now governed by Providence?" But Rufus replied, "Did I ever incidentally form an argument from Galba that the world is governed by Providence?" Book 3. Chapter 16. that we ought with caution to enter into familiar intercourse with men. If a man has frequent intercourse with others either for talk or drinking together, or generally for social purposes, he must either become like them or change them to his own fashion. For if a man places a piece of quenched charcoal close to a piece that is burning, either the quenched charcoal will quench the other, or the burning charcoal will light that which is quenched. Since then the danger is so great, we must cautiously enter into such intimacies with those of the common sort, and remember that it is impossible that a man can keep company with one who is covered with soot without being partaker of the soot himself. For what will you do if a man speaks about gladiators, about horses, about athletes, or what is worse about men? Such a person is bad, such a person is good, this was well done, this was done badly. Further, if he scoff, or ridicule, or show an ill-natured disposition. Is any man among us prepared like a lute player when he takes a lute, so that as soon as he has touched the strings, he discovers which are discordant, and tunes the instrument? Such a power as Socrates had, who in all his social intercourse could lead his companions to his own purpose. How should you have this power? It is therefore a necessary consequence that you are carried about by the common kind of people. Why then are they more powerful than you? Because they utter these useless words from their real opinions, but you utter your elegant words only from your lips. For this reason they are without strength and dead, and it is nauseous to listen to your exhortations. And your miserable virtue, which is talked of everywhere, up and down. In this way the vulgar have the advantage over you, for every opinion, dogma, is strong and invincible. Until then the good, compsi, sentiments, eupolepsius, are fixed in you. And you shall have acquired a certain power for your security. I advise you to be careful in your association with common persons. If you are not, every day like wax in the sun there will be melted away whatever you inscribe on your minds in the school. Withdraw then yourselves far from the sun so long as you have these waxen sentiments. For this reason also philosophers advise men to leave their native country, because ancient habits distract them and do not allow a beginning to be made of a different habit. Nor can we tolerate those who meet us and say, "See, such a one is now a philosopher, who was once so and so." Thus also physicians send those who have lingering diseases to a different country and a different air, and they do right. Do you also introduce other habits than those which you have, fix your opinions and exercise yourselves in them. But you do not so, you go hence to a spectacle, to a show of gladiators, to a place of exercise, Zeston, to a circus, then you come back hither, and again from this place you go to those places, and still the same persons. And there is no pleasing, good, habit, nor attention, nor care about self and observation of this kind. How shall I use the appearances presented to me? According to nature, or contrary to nature? How do I answer to them? As I ought, or as I ought not? Do I say to those things which are independent of the will, that they do not concern me? For if you are not yet in this state, fly from your former habits, fly from the common sort, if you intend ever to begin to be something. Book 3. Chapter 17. On Providence. When you make any charge against Providence, consider, and you will learn that the thing has happened according to reason. Yes, but the unjust man has the advantage. In what? In money. Yes, for he is superior to you in this, that he flatters, is free from shame, and is watchful. What is the wonder? But see if he has the advantage over you in being faithful, in being modest, for you will not find it to be so, but wherein you are superior, there you will find that you have the advantage. And I once said to a man who was vexed, because Philostorgus was fortunate, would you choose to lie with Sura? May it never happen, he replied, that this day should come? Why then are you vexed, if he receives something in return for that which he sells? Or how can you consider him happy who acquires those things by such means as you abominate? Or what wrong does Providence, if he gives the better things to the better men? Is it not better to be modest than to be rich? He admitted this. Why are you vexed then, man, when you possess the better thing? Remember then always and have in readiness the truth, that this is a law of nature, that the superior has an advantage over the inferior in that in which he is superior, and you will never be vexed. But my wife treats me badly. Well, if any man asks you what this is, say, my wife treats me badly. Is there then nothing more? Nothing, my father gives me nothing. What is this? My father gives me nothing. Is there nothing else then? Nothing, but to say that this is an evil is something which must be added to it externally, and falsely added. For this reason we must not get rid of poverty, but of the opinion about poverty, and then we shall be happy. Book 3. Chapter 18. That we ought not to be disturbed by any news. When anything shall be reported to you which is of a nature to disturb, have this principle in readiness, that the news is about nothing which is within the power of your will. Can any man report to you that you have formed a bad opinion, or had a bad desire? By no means. But perhaps he will report that some person is dead. What then is that to you? He may report that some person speaks ill of you. What then is that to you? Or that your father is planning something or other. Against whom? Against your will, Proerasis? How can he? But is it against your poor body, against your little property? You are quite safe, it is not against you. But the judge declares that you have committed an act of impiety. And did not the judges, Dicasti, make the same declaration against Socrates? Does it concern you that the judge has made this declaration? No. Why then do you trouble yourself any longer about it? Your father has a certain duty, and if he shall not fulfill it, he loses the character of a father, of a man of natural affection, of gentleness. Do not wish him to lose anything else on this account. For never does a man do wrong in one thing, and suffer in another. On the other side, it is your duty to make your defense firmly, modestly, without anger, but if you do not, you also lose the character of a son, of a man of modest behavior, of generous character. Well then, is the judge free from danger? No, but he also is in equal danger. Why then are you still afraid of his decision? What have you to do with that, which is another man's evil? It is your own evil, to make a bad defense. Be on your guard against this only. But to be condemned or not to be condemned, as that is the act of another person, so it is the evil of another person. A certain person threatens you. Me? No. He blames you. Let him see how he manages his own affairs. He is going to condemn you unjustly. He is a wretched man. Book 3. Chapter 19. What is the condition of a common kind of man and of a philosopher? The first difference between a common person, idiots, and a philosopher is this: the common person says, "Woe to me for my little child, for my brother, for my father." The philosopher, if he shall ever be compelled to say, "Woe to me," stops and says, "But for myself." For nothing which is independent of the will can hinder or damage the will, and the will can only hinder or damage itself. If then we ourselves incline in this direction, so as, when we are unlucky, to blame ourselves and to remember that nothing else is the cause of perturbation or loss of tranquility except our own opinion, I swear to you by all the gods that we have made progress. But in the present state of affairs we have gone another way from the beginning. For example, while we were still children, the nurse, if we ever stumbled through want of care, did not chide us, but would beat the stone. But what did the stone do? Ought the stone to have moved on account of your child's folly? Again, if we find nothing to eat on coming out of the bath, the pedagogue never checks our appetite, but he flogs the cook. Man, did we make you the pedagogue of the cook and not of the child? Correct the child, improve him. In this way, even when we are grown up, we are like children. For he who is unmusical is a child in music, he who is without letters is a child in learning, he who is untaught is a child in life. Book 3. Chapter 20. That we can derive advantage from all external things. In the case of appearances which are objects of the vision, nearly all have allowed the good and the evil to be in ourselves, and not in externals. No one gives the name of good to the fact that it is day, nor bad to the fact that it is night, nor the name of the greatest evil to the opinion that 3 are 4. But what do men say? They say that knowledge is good, and that error is bad, so that even in respect to falsehood itself there is a good result, the knowledge that it is falsehood. So it ought to be in life also. Is health a good thing, and is sickness a bad thing? No, man. But what is it? To be healthy, and healthy in a right way, is good, to be healthy in a bad way is bad, so that it is possible to gain advantage even from sickness, I declare. For is it not possible to gain advantage even from death, and is it not possible to gain advantage from mutilation? Do you think that Menoetius gained little by death? Could a man who says so, gain so much as Menoetius gained? Come, man, did he not maintain the character of being a lover of his country, a man of great mind, faithful, generous? And if he had continued to live, would he not have lost all these things? Would he not have gained the opposite? Would he not have gained the name of coward, ignoble, a hater of his country, a man who feared death? Well, do you think that he gained little by dying? I suppose not. But did the father of Admetus gain much by prolonging his life so ignobly and miserably? Did he not die afterwards? Cease, I adjure you by the gods, to admire material things. Cease to make yourselves slaves, first of things, then, on account of things, slaves of those who are able to give them or take them away. Can advantage then be derived from these things? From all, and from him who abuses you. Wherein does the man who exercises before the combat profit the athlete? Very greatly. This man becomes my exerciser before the combat, he exercises me in endurance, in keeping my temper, in mildness. You say no, But he who lays hold of my neck and disciplines my loins and shoulders, does me good, and the exercise master, the elliptes, or oiler, does right when he says, raise him up with both hands, and the heavier he, ekeinos, is, so much the more is my advantage. But if a man exercises me in keeping my temper, does he not do me good? This is not knowing how to gain an advantage from men. Is my neighbor bad? Bad to himself, but good to me. He exercises my good disposition, my moderation. Is my father bad? Bad to himself, but to me good. This is the rod of Hermes. Touch with it what you please, as the saying is, and it will be of gold. I say not so, but bring what you please, and I will make it good. Bring disease, bring death, bring poverty, bring abuse, bring trial on capital charges, all these things through the rod of Hermes shall be made profitable. What will you do with death? Why, what else than that it shall do you honor, or that it shall show you by act through it, what a man is who follows the will of nature? What will you do with disease? I will show its nature, I will be conspicuous in it, I will be firm, I will be happy, I will not flatter the physician, I will not wish to die. What else do you seek? Whatever you shall give me, I will make it happy, fortunate, honored, a thing which a man shall seek. You say no, but take care that you do not fall sick, it is a bad thing. This is the same as if you should say, take care that you never receive the impression, appearance, that 3 are 4, that is bad. Man, how is it bad? If I think about it as I ought, how shall it then do me any damage? And shall it not even do me good? If then I think about poverty as I ought to do, about disease, about not having office, is not that enough for me? Will it not be an advantage? How then ought I any longer to look to seek evil and good in externals? What happens? These doctrines are maintained here, but no man carries them away home, but immediately everyone is at war with his slave, with his neighbors, with those who have sneered at him, with those who have ridiculed him. Good luck to Lesbius, who daily proves that I know nothing. Book 3. Chapter 21. Against those who readily come to the profession of sophists. They who have taken up bare theorems, theoremata, immediately wish to vomit them forth, as persons whose stomach is diseased do with food. First digest the thing, then do not vomit it up thus. If you do not digest it, the thing becomes truly an emetic, a crude food and unfit to eat. But after digestion show us some change in your ruling faculty, as athletes show in their shoulders by what they have been exercised and what they have eaten, as those who have taken up certain arts show by what they have learned. The carpenter does not come and say, hear me talk about the carpenter's art, but having undertaken to build a house, he makes it, and proves that he knows the art. You also ought to do something of the kind, eat like a man, drink like a man, dress, marry, beget children, do the office of a citizen, endure abuse, bear with an unreasonable brother, bear with your father, bear with your son, neighbor, companion. Show us these things that we may see that you have in truth learned something from the philosophers. You say, no, but come and hear me read philosophical commentaries. Go away, and seek somebody to vomit them on. He replies, and indeed I will expound to you the writings of Chrysippus as no other man can, I will explain his text most clearly, I will add also, if I can, the vehemence of Antipater and Archidemus. Is it then for this that young men shall leave their country and their parents, that they may come to this place, and hear you explain words? Ought they not to return with a capacity to endure, to be active in association with others, free from passions, free from perturbation, with such a provision for the journey of life with which they shall be able to bear well the things that happen and derive honor from them? And how can ye give them any of these things which you do not possess? Have you done from the beginning anything else than employ yourself about the resolution of syllogisms, of sophistical arguments, metapiptents, and in those which work by questions? But such a man has a school, why should not I also have a school? These things are not done, man, in a careless way, nor just as it may happen, but there must be a fit gauge in life in God as a guide. You say, no. But no man sails from a port without having sacrificed to the gods and invoked their help, nor do men so without having called on Demeter, and shall a man who has undertaken so great a work undertake it safely without the gods? And shall they who undertake this work come to it with success? What else are you doing, man, than divulging the mysteries? You say, there is a temple at Eleusis, and one here also. There is an hierophant at Eleusis, and I also will make an hierophant there. Is a herald, and I will establish a herald. There is a torchbearer at Eleusis, and I also will establish a torchbearer. There are torches at Eleusis, and I will have torches here. The words are the same. How do the things done here differ from those done there? Most impious man, is there no difference? These things are done both in due place and in due time, and when accompanied with sacrifice and prayers, when a man is first purified, and when he is disposed in his mind to the thought that he is going to approach sacred rites and ancient rites. In this way the mysteries are useful. In this way we come to the notion that all these things were established by the ancients for the instruction and correction of life. But you publish and divulge them out of time, out of place, without sacrifices. Without purity, you have not the garments which the hierophant ought to have, nor the hair, nor the headdress, nor the voice, nor the age, nor have you purified yourself as he has, but you have committed to memory the words only, and you say, sacred are the words by themselves. You ought to approach these matters in another way. The thing is great, it is mystical, not a common thing, nor is it given to every man. But not even wisdom perhaps is enough to enable a man to take care of youths. A man must have also a certain readiness and fitness for this purpose, and a certain quality of body, and above all things he must have God to advise him to occupy this office, as God advised Socrates to occupy the place of one who confutes error, Diogenes the office of royalty and reproof, and the office of teaching precepts. But you open a doctor's shop, though you have nothing except physic, but where and how they should be applied, you know not, nor have you taken any trouble about it. See, that man says, I too have salves for the eyes. Have you also the power of using them? Do you know both when and how they will do good, and to whom they will do good? Why then do you act at hazard in things of the greatest importance? Why are you careless? Why do you undertake a thing that is in no way fit for you? Leave it to those who are able to do it, and to do it well. Do not yourself bring disgrace on philosophy through your own acts, and be not one of those who load it with a bad reputation. But if theorems please you, sit still, and turn them over by yourself, but never say that you are a philosopher, nor allow another to say it. But say, he is mistaken, for neither are my desires different from what they were before, nor is my activity directed to other objects, nor do I assent to other things, nor in the use of appearances have I altered at all from my former condition. This you must think and say about yourself, if you would think as you ought, if not act at hazard, and do what you are doing, for it becomes you.